Raw Aftermath, Reigns and Usos. Reigns vs. Usos backstage tension. What happened after Raw? Reigns and Usos off-air moment. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What if the real ending of Raw wasn't what we saw on TV, but what happened when everything was supposed to be over? And what if the moment that could change the entire Bloodline story wasn't loud, wasn't explosive, but quiet, tense, and almost hidden in plain sight? Alright, so stay with me here, because this is one of those situations where the more you think about it, the deeper it gets, and the more uncomfortable it starts to feel. You watched Raw, you saw how everything played out, the chaos, the tension, Roman Reigns trying to hold things together, the Usos caught in that same complicated space they've been in for what feels like forever, and on the surface, it felt like just another chapter, another episode, another piece of a story we think we already understand. But the truth is, what happened after Raw ended might matter way more than anything we saw during the show, and that's not even an exaggeration. So imagine the scene: the cameras are off, the broadcast is done, the crowd is slowly fading out, people are heading home still talking about what they just saw, maybe arguing about who's right, who's wrong, same as always, but backstage, it's a completely different atmosphere. There's no performance anymore, no lights, no music, no scripted energy, just real reactions, real tension, and that's where things start to feel different, like something shifted in a way that you can't just ignore. Roman Reigns walks in first, and right away, something feels off, not in a dramatic way, not in that usual dominant tribal chief energy where he owns the room the second he steps into it. This is quieter, heavier, like he's thinking, like something is bothering him in a way he doesn't want anyone else to see, and honestly, that alone should make you pause for a second. Because when was the last time Roman looked like that? Not angry, not shouting, not demanding respect, but just tense, controlled, almost like he's holding something back, and not in a strategic way, more like he's trying not to let something slip. And then Jimmy Uso shows up, and this is where the moment really starts to build, because there's no instant explosion, no yelling match right out of the gate. Instead, there's silence, and not the comfortable kind, the kind where you can feel something coming but nobody wants to be the one to start it, like both of them already know this isn't going to end well. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Jay is there too, but he's not jumping in, he's not stepping between them right away, he's hanging back, watching, and that says a lot more than people might realize at first. This is Jey Uso we're talking about, the same guy who has stood up to Roman before, the same guy who has been at the center of this entire Bloodline story, and yet in this moment, he's hesitating, almost like he's trying to figure out where he even stands anymore, and honestly, can you blame him? Because at this point, what even is the right choice? And if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, something feels different, you're not alone, because this doesn't feel like the usual tension we've seen before. This feels more personal, more final, like something is reaching a breaking point, even if it hasn't fully broken yet. Roman finally says something, and even without hearing every word clearly, you can tell from his tone, from the way he's carrying himself, this isn't just another speech, this isn't him reminding them who's in charge, this feels more like a warning, like he's drawing a line that didn't exist before. Jimmy's reaction though, that's the part that really changes everything, because he doesn't step back, he doesn't try to smooth things over, he steps forward, and that one small move says more than any long promo ever could, because for so long, Jimmy and Jay have been reacting to Roman, following his lead, even when they resisted, it still felt like they were caught in his orbit, but this feels different, this feels like a decision, like Jimmy is no longer just part of the story, he's actively choosing where it goes next. And somewhere in the middle of all this, Jay finally steps in, trying to calm things down, trying to keep everything from completely falling apart. But even that feels fragile, like he knows this isn't something you can fix with a few words anymore. This isn't a misunderstanding, this is something deeper, something that's been building for a long time, and now it's right there on the surface whether they like it or not. There's this one moment, and it's quick, really easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but it might be the most important part of everything. Roman looks at both of them, and it's not the usual look, not the leader looking at his family, not the tribal chief looking at his bloodline, it's colder than that, more calculated, almost like he's evaluating them, like he's trying to figure out if they're still with him or if they become something else entirely, and that's where things start to feel dangerous. Because if Roman Reigns starts seeing the Usos not as his right-hand man, not as his brothers in this whole thing, but as risks, as problems, as liabilities, then everything changes, and I mean everything, because the entire foundation of the bloodline has always been loyalty, control, family, all of that wrapped together, but the second that trust starts to crack, it doesn't just weaken the group, it threatens to destroy it completely. And let's be honest for a second, WWE loves to stretch these stories out. They'll tease a breakup, pull it back, give you hope, then tease it again. They know how to keep people hooked. We've seen it 100 times, but this moment, this didn't feel like a tease. It didn't feel like something designed just to keep us guessing for another week. It felt real, like one of those turning points that you only fully understand after everything falls apart. Also, quick side thought, why is it always the stuff that happens after the show ends that hits the hardest? Like seriously, you sit through 3 hours and then the most important moment is happening when half the audience is already heading to the parking lot. That's kind of wild when you think about it, but hey, if you're still here breaking this down with me, you already know you're part of the real conversation, so go ahead, drop a like. It helps push this kind of content out, and subscribe if you haven't, because if this story keeps evolving like this, we're definitely not done talking about it. Now let's really think about what this means going forward, because if Roman is starting to lose control, not in the obvious way, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, that's where things get unpredictable, and an unpredictable Roman Reigns is a completely different problem, because now you're not dealing with a calculated leader, you're dealing with someone who might start making decisions based on pressure, on doubt, on fear of losing everything he's built. And the Usos, they're right in the middle of it, standing at a crossroads that doesn't have an easy answer: stay with Roman and risk being pulled into whatever this is turning into, or step away and deal with the consequences of going against him. And let's not pretend those consequences are small. We've seen what happens when people cross Roman, it never ends quietly. You could even look at this and say it's not about dominance anymore, it's not about who's in charge or who holds the power, it's about survival, about who makes it through whatever is coming next. Because something is coming, you can feel it, it's building slowly, quietly, the kind of tension that doesn't explode right away but just keeps growing until it can't be contained anymore. And the way Roman looked in that footage, that wasn't confidence, that wasn't control, that was pressure, real pressure, the kind that doesn't go away, the kind that sits there and waits, and the longer it stays, the worse it gets, and when it finally breaks, it doesn't just crack a little, it shatters everything around it. So now the real question is, when does that happen? Is it next week? Is it at the next big event? Or is this something they're building toward slowly? Something bigger than just another match or another argument, something that changes the entire direction of the bloodline story. And here's one last thing to think about: what if this wasn't just a random backstage moment that happened to get out? What if it was meant to be seen, not by everyone, but by enough people to start conversations like this, to get fans paying closer attention, questioning what's real, what's planned, what's coming next? Because if that's the case, then yeah, it worked perfectly. So I want to know what you think. Seriously, what stood out to you the most? Was it Roman's silence, Jimmy stepping forward without hesitation, or Jay being stuck in that same position again, trying to hold everything together when it might already be falling apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's actually talk about it. And if you made it all the way through this, I appreciate you, really. Thanks for sticking around and getting into this with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.